on Sri Sai Ram Gita Vahini by Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, Chapter 8, Lord Krishna's Avataric Mission. The Avatara Purushas have association neither with Punya Karmas or the meritorious deeds, nor with Papa Karmas or the sinful or unmeritorious deeds accumulated in former births. This cause is applicable only to the incarnation of ordinary mortals, not for Avatara Purushas. There is a Leela Janma or divine birth as a play of God caused by both the virtues or meritorious acts of the virtuous and the wickedness of the wicked. For example, what is the cause of Narasimha Avataram? The merits of Prahlada and the wickedness of Hiranyakashipu combine to cause it. Moreover, there is no need to search for the causes of the birth of Avatara Purushas. As a result of the divine incarnations in the human form, the Dharmatmas or those who practice Dharma will be happy, and the Papatmas or the wicked ones will suffer. There is no particular Punya Karma or Papa Karma responsible for the divine incarnation or descent of the Lord. The Avatara Purusha does not experience joy or grief from the gross body he assumes. The form he assumes is not caused by previous births. It is not constituted of the five elements and its modification. It is Chinmaya Swarupa, or the form based on pure consciousness, not Mrinanmaya Swarupa, or the earthen form. It can never be disturbed by ahamkaram or egoism, or mamkaram, the sense of mine and mineness. It is untouched by the delusion born of avidya or ignorance. It cannot be equated to an ordinary human form. If people mistake the form of an avatar as just human, it is due to ajnana dosham, that is, defect of ignorance. I shall tell you the tasks that I accomplish in this world when I come assuming the human form. Listen, said Lord Krishna. Sadhu Rakshana, or the protecting the virtuous and selfless beings. Dushta Sikshana, or punishing the wicked. And Dharmodadharana, uplifting the practice of Dharma. The term sadhus does not mean monks and ascetics as many people believe. Every living being, including insects, has sadgunam or virtuous quality. The exact meaning of sadhu Samarakshana is Sattva Guna Poshana, or fostering pure qualities or virtues. This sacred quality or Sattva Guna plays a significant role in virtuous and holy men. That is the reason why Sadhu Rakshana is commonly understood to mean protecting monks and ascetics, all those who strive to cultivate Sattva Guna and devoted to follow Sadacharam or good practices, who have Satshilam or good character, who adhere to Satya or truth, who yearn for the Sannidhi or presence of Sarveshwara, the Almighty, who observe the Sat Dharma, who constantly inquire into the absolute existence Sat as the very nature or Dharma, who have Sarvajana or Samana Prema, Sarvajana, Samana Prema, that is unconditional love towards all of them are sadhus. Such sadhu tattvam or goodness or virtueness can be found even among the animals, birds and beasts. That is the reason why in the Ramayana, Jatayu, the demigod in the form of vulture, was saved by the Lord. That is the reason why the Gajaraju or the elephant was protected and the monkeys were blessed by the Lord. The same reason prompted the Lord to bless the squirrel. All these had sadhu tattvam, sadhutvam in them, isn't it? By merely wearing a string of beads around the neck, donning an ochre robe and holding a stick in the hand does not make one a sadhu. It is not one's attire or honey tongue that defines sadhu tattvam. Suguna Swabhavam, or virtuous nature, is the fundamental characteristics of sadhutvam. All living beings in the world have sadhutvam in their nature, so it should be understood that loka samarakshana, or the protecting the world, is nothing but sadhu poshana, or sustenance of virtueness or goodness in the world. Next is dushta sikshana, the punishment of the wicked. Who are the wicked to be punished? Punishing those who transgress the limits set for each species of beings, who indulge in akarma pravartana, or forbidden conduct, anyaya or injustice, anachara, forbidden or wrong practices, ahamkaram or egoism, and avedana, anguish. That means punishing those who have allowed Rajoguna and Tamoguna to predominate and who have thus lost all trace of daya or compassion, dharma, morality or righteousness, and damam, sense control, and then dharma rakshana, sustaining the practice of dharma. In this way, Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna the three kinds of tasks which mark this, his avataric mission. There is another subtle dimension in the aspect of dharmo the dharma, uplifting the practice of dharma. The word sadhu has another meaning important in this context of dharmo the dharma. A sadhu is he who does not deviate from his kartavya dharma, or bounden duty. Whatever the temptation and whatever the danger, wicked ones are those who revel in creating trouble for such sadhu, satpurushas, or noble or virtuous men, and indulge in acts contrary to the injunctions of the Shastras by their thoughts, words, and deeds. What then is the dharma sanstapana, or re-establishment or reinforcing of the practice of dharma? It is acting strictly according to the dharma laid down in its Shastras, spreading among people the glory and the splendor of a life lived in dharma, instilling in them implicit faith towards the Vedas and the Shastras, towards God, avatarams or divine incarnations, param swarupas or holy men, and the spiritual disciples that leads, and spiritual disciplines that leads to liberation and a blessedness beyond this life, and making them strictly adhere to sadachara, or prescribed or right practices. It is also called dharma rakshana, or dharmo the dharana. Whatever I do, it is all for this high purpose of dharma samsthapana. Nothing is for my self-interest. Those who know this secret can escape birth and death and will reach me, said Lord Krishna. To feel that the Lord is away afar separate from you, that is called paroksha janam, indirect or remote knowledge. To feel that the Lord is away afar separate from you, that is called paroksha jnanam, indirect or remote knowledge. To experience that the Lord who is immanent in the universe is in me also as the Atma self, that is aparoksha jnanam, immediate knowledge. If all activities are performed with an attitude of dedication to the Lord, it leads to chitta shuddhi, or purification of chitta or the mind. He awakened Arjuna to recognize the divine nature of the Lord's janma or birth and karma, action. Only such great and noble men can recognize the divine nature of the Lord's janma and karma, said Krishna. All cannot so recognize this divinity, yet no one should stop putting in the efforts. Try your best and utilize every chance. There should not be any lapse on your part. This is emphasized in the 10th shloka of this chapter, where the signs of the adhikari, the deserving candidate, are given. Arjuna, not all can understand the divyatvam, or the divinity of my janma and karma. Only those who are free from raga or attachment, dvesha, hatred, Bhaya of fear, and Krodha anger, those who are immersed in remembering me and engrossed in my name and form, who know of no other support than me, who are sanctified by the knowledge of the Atma, that is self-knowledge, can grasp it. Those who seek me undeviatingly, possessing Satya, truth, Dharma, righteousness, and Prema, love, will reach me. This is absolutely true. Take it from me. Give up any doubt you may have on this score. Men render the Antakaranas or inner instruments or the collective name for the manas or mind, buddhi, intellect, chitta and ahamkara, impure by ceaselessly dwelling on the objective world through ajnanam or ignorance. They take delight in mere sense objects like shabda or sound, etc. When they dwell on objective pleasure, they are tempted to secure the objects that give the pleasure. When they are foiled or failed in the attempt to secure the desired objects, they get restless, fearful, and panicky. Fear robs man of his entire strength. It creates anger that cannot be easily pacified. Anger and fear are severe impediments to Bhagavad Prapati, experiencing the divinity. Only when these three, Abhilasha or desire, Krodham, anger and Bhayam, fear, are completely removed from the Antakaranas, one will never feel that they are separate from God. Arjuna, revolve in your mind these facts, inquire into them thoroughly, become reasonable, have faith in my words. Arjuna listened to all this and asked, Nanda Kumara, son of Nanda, one who is born out of bliss is Nanda. Why can you not make this sacred and highest sthiti or state attained by all persons in this world? You have announced yourself as Prema Swarupa, true form of love, and Dayamaya, full of compassion. Why then all this partiality? I must declare it as favoritism. For you endow this sacred and highest sthiti only on jnanis or wise ones and deny it to the jnanis or ignorance. I would even say that the jnanis, the ignorant ones, who have no discrimination, who have no steadiness and swing like the pendulum of the clock from one thing to another, merit your grace more, and they should be granted that highest sthiti. The jnanis know everything. They are aware that the Jagat is transitory, is Vishnumayam, filled with divine power. Why then should it be made further clear to them? They have no more need for anything. Krishna replied, Arjuna, your queries are very important, no doubt. Men are usually overwhelmed by such doubts. You represent the entire humanity, and so your doubt is humanity's doubt. By clearing your doubt, I can also announce my message to humanity. Listen, those who seek me are of four types. One is always worn out by bodily sufferings. He is called Arti. Another is worried by the struggle of prosperity, power, prestige, property, posterity, etc. He is the Artharti. A third yearns for the realization of the Paramatma, the Absolute Self or God, reads the scriptures and sacred texts, moves ever in the company of the sadhus, engages in sadalochana or good thoughts, sadbhavam or good temper, vicharana or inquiry, and is always motivated by the eagerness to reach the sanidhyam or the presence of the Lord. He is the jignasu, or the fourth is the jnani. He is ever immersed in the Brahma Tattvam or the Brahman principle. The first, the Arti, worships me and remembers me only when he is in difficulty, worry and suffering from restlessness, grief or pain in worldly matters. When he prays to me, I hear it and I satisfy him only in relation to that particular difficulty, that particular grief or pain, so too, when the Artharthi prays for riches or position or power or high status, prestige, posterity, etc., I listen and award him only that particular thing he craves for and makes him happy. The Jignasu is blessed with chances to do Nishkama Karma or actions without expecting any reward with a proper guru as guide, with an intellect that is sharp enough to discriminate between Atma and Anatma, and thus grants him Atma Prapti or self-realization. I bless him so that he is safe from getting distracted by other aspirations and help him to concentrate on the single aim of moksham or liberation. Arjuna, I am like the Kalpa Vriksham or wish-fulfilling tree. My task is to give each what he asks for. I act according to the bhavams or thoughts, feelings or aptitude of the people and grant them the appropriate fruits. I have no hatred, no prejudice and no favoritism, not even the shadow of nirdaya, that is cruelty or wickedness, can touch me. No fault can be imputed to me. The rays of the sun fall equally upon all that are directly in front. But how can he, the sun, illumine something which is hidden? Likewise, I fulfill what each desire for. Therefore, cultivate the higher yearnings and you receive the higher stages. Cultivate the lower aspirations and you receive the lower stages. The fault lies in the aspirant and his aspirations, but not an iota of fault in the anugraham or the grace or blessings of the Lord. Arjuna, man gives up dwelling upon me and seeking me who is the very self. He is not anxious to reach me. On the other hand, he pursues lesser attainments that are temporary, time-bound, transitory and take refuge in relatively lower powers. I shall tell you the reason for this foolish behavior. Karma Upasana gives quick results. Man seeks only what is being grasped by his senses. Man generally finds reality too difficult to attain, so he strives only to attain Prataksha Anandam or joys perceived by senses, which is fleeting but does not put efforts to attain Aparoksha Anandam or permanent bliss, which is lasting. Jnana Siddhi or attaining Jnana, the knowledge of the self or non-duality, depends on the Antakarana or the inner faculty. It is won after long and arduous struggle. Men do not generally have the patience needed. Moreover, they attach greater importance to the gross body, the Sthula Shariram itself. Ordinary men deepen this bodily attachment since they desire kama or sensual cravings. They yearn for karma siddhi or fulfillment of desired objects or worldly ambitions, not jnana siddhi. In the world, vichara grastas, that is, those who are absorbed in inquiry or reflection, are fewer than Vishya grastas, those who are absorbed in sense objects or worldly pleasures. Vishya grastas strictly adhere to the Sharira Pushti of physical fitness and Pratyaksha Gocharam or objects of direct perception. They are completely engrossed only in such thoughts. Vichara grasta seek Atmika Pushti or spiritual fitness and incessantly strive to attain Sakshatkaram or realization and to experience all-pervasive Brahma Tattvam, principle of Brahman or absolute reality. They put all their efforts and time into their endeavor. This is the Sakarma Margam. Karma Upasana or worshiping the deities for attaining the fruits of success in the worldly activities is the Vakra Margam or the devious or incorrect path. So my task is to uphold and make clear to all the value of dharma karmas and vicharana. that is self-knowledge through inquiry, which have to be adopted after due discrimination within proper limits. But Arjuna, there is an appropriate method for dharma samsthapana or re-establishment of practice of dharma. Listen, that method is Chaturvarna Vyasthana. Chaturvarna Vyastha, the organization of the 4 Varna classes. I created 4 categories of Varnas based on the karma. The 3 constituent properties, that is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, of nature present in people in different proportions of the people. The Varna Vyavastha is essential for the effective functioning of the creation of the world. Srishti. Its significance is not easy to grasp by the ordinary folk. Agyanis or ignorance misled themselves into the belief that it is Varna system, causes unrest and divides men from one another. If the problem is reasoned out through deep inquiry, then the real truth will become clear. To conclude that the Varna system is not beneficial without proper analysis results into mere perverse argument or hypercriticism due to lack of subject matter, confusion due to lack of discrimination, distress due to lack of faith. I have established this Varna system in order to promote the welfare of the world, that is Lokashemam, but not to create warfare in the world or Loka Shamam. The Varnas help man to engage himself in acts that he finds congenial and to accomplish what is to be accomplished. Without Varna Nibandhana or regulation of Varna system, man cannot remain happy even for a moment. For man's activity, Varna is the vital force. Those who have understood the Brahma Tattvam or the reality of the Supreme Self through Sattvika Guna or quality of purity and goodness, who foster Adhyatmika or spiritual, Netika, moral, and Pragati, progressive, Jivanam or living among men, who help others to earn Swarupa, Sandarshana, Bhagyam, the bliss of realizing the reality of their true self, are the Brahmanas, and the Kshatriyas are those who stand by and guard the sound political and administrative system, law and justice, and who keep under control the wicked and the immoral in order to promote the welfare and prosperity of the country and also to protect the moral order or dharma, and who come to the rescue of the weak and the distressed. Those who store and supply in adequate quantities to the people at large the wherewithal for happy physical living through the cultivation of crops and cattle and various business activities by fair and moral means are Vaishyas, those who lay the foundation for human welfare by service activities and who provide the necessary strength and sinews for the above 3 Varnas are the Shudras. I have laid down these 4 Varnas in this manner. If the people follow these Varnas and carried out their assigned duties, humanity will attain integrated development at both the levels of micro-community and macro-community. As a result of this system, a division of labor is brought about and the individual can lead a happy, harmonious social life without any grief or fear. This Varna system is an example of the grace that the Lord has bestowed on the people of Bharat. The people of Bharat are indeed blessed. It is a great good fortune to be deserving of the grace of the Lord and to look upon every act as but the execution of the Lord's order. This point has to be reflected upon. It is an important issue. Varna Vyavastha, the divine gift, is in great danger now. Even the rulers and many other people argue and teach that the world will not progress. It is only because of this Varna system the country of Bharat came to this sorry condition. Of course, it is the welfare of the world that is paramount to all. But these intelligent folk have to sit quiet for some little time and ponder over the question: has the country survived with at least this much of happiness as a result of this Varna system? Or has it come to this sorry condition because the Varna system has declined? Then, on the basis of their research and analysis, and thereby producing the testimony, they can advise the discarding of the Varnas. In that case, all have to agree with them. Other than that, when people find fault with the Varna system through frivolous and fallacious inferences and conclude without such proper inquiry, impartial investigation and discrimination, it is something that cannot be tolerated. Of course, to a certain degree, it is a fact that the Varna system has veered from the proper path and taken to moving in wrong directions. This has been noted by many great men, but that cannot be sufficient reason to throw it overboard. For the reason that the feet are engaged in the work of the hands and that the head is performing the function of the feet, it is not advisable to cut off the hands and feet. Attempts have to be made to set things right. Instead, trying to destroy the very system itself is injustice to it. At the outset, the Varna system is not the cause of all this confusion and unrest. The fault lies more in the haphazard manner in which it has maintained or practiced. Varna Vyavastha, or the organization of Varnas, is Bhagavad Prasadam, or God's gift. It is not revered property. It was not revered properly, not followed in the right direction, and was misused. So it lost its original symmetry and harmony. This Chaturvarna Vyavastha, or organization of four Varnas, is essential not merely for Bharat, but even for the entire world. In countries outside India, this system is not absent. The name may be different there, that is all. The working is the same. There are four classes: the Sikshasaka Vargam, or teachers or trainers, the Rakshasaka Vargam, the Rakshaka Vargam, or saviors, the Vanig Vargam, or the traders, and the Shramika Vargam, or the workers. But in Bharat, the Varnas or classes are decided by birth, Janma. In other parts of the world, they are decided by Karma, the work each is engaged in. That is the distinction between that classification and this classification. Now, among the Brahmanas, who have been honored by being established in the very first cadre, many can be found who have left off the sacred path and strayed into mean ways. So too, in the fourth Varna, the Shudras, many can be found who are moved by holy ideals, high spiritual aspirations, and who are striving to attain Chitta Shuddhi, or purity of mind. Entirely owing to these occasional tribulations or absurdities, it is not proper to conclude that Varna system is worthless. Jai Sai Ram.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ